So this is a mileage question. A car averages 27 miles per gallon. If gas costs $4.04 per gallon, which of the following is closest to how much gas would cost for this car to travel 2,727 typical miles?
Okay. I think I got you on this one.
And this is something I do all the time whenever I go on a road trip.
I do too. I am calculating this stuff constantly in my head whenever I am on a road trip. It's kind of nerdy. I'm just like, okay, so just driving down the street, I don't know.
It's just a good way to kill time.
It does. It keeps my mind occupied. So, okay, so let's, I've got the question on my screen too, so we can maybe dissect it a little bit. But I got you here. So we know it averages, wait, I need my highlighter here. Okay, so it averages 27 miles per gallon. So I'm going to write that down here because I think that is going to be very important. So I'm going to say 27 miles per 1 gallon of gas. I also know that gas costs $4.04 per gallon. So I'm going to maybe say $4.04 equals 1 gallon. And then I want to know how much the gas would cost for the car to travel 2,727 typical miles. And I'm assuming it says typical just because, you know, we're not throwing down the gas pedal and accelerating really fast. We're driving normally, typically.
If you're driving through the mountains, your gas mileage will not be typical, right?
Right.
Always one uphill or downhill.
So always depends, right? That can fluctuate depending on your acceleration, the incline, those kinds of things. What might be helpful is if we can find out how much it's going to cost per mile. And if we can figure out how much it's going to cost per mile, we can then project that for 2,727 miles. That's a possibility. Is that how you would maybe go about this one?
How did you say?
I said we're going to calculate how much it would cost per mile.
Okay. I was actually thinking about how many gallons you would use first, but
okay.
It's the same idea, right? It's just
same idea, still projecting it. Okay. Okay, well, either way. All right, so we'll go how much we can, how much it'll cost per mile, and then we'll project it, and then we can maybe look at it Nathan's way if we have time.
Yeah, and just to be clear, like neither way is more right than the other. It's just do it how you intuitively think about it. Like I intuitively would think how many gallons of gas I was using.
Right.
And Becca might intuitively think how much is it costing me per gallon. That's the way you should go about it because it's going to make more sense as you're working out your problem.
It's very true. Yeah. It is very true. So I'm going to say that, so I know that it's 27 miles per gallon and it's $4.04 per gallon as well. So if I divide, so I can do this to cancel out the gallons. We saw this strategy a little bit yesterday. And we know that it's 27 miles for $4.04. And if I maybe found out how much per mile, so I could do $4.04 divided by 27 miles. And if I divide that, would you hand me the calculator, Nathan, please?
You can't do this in your head?
Yeah. Give me a minute and I could, but. So if I divide that $4.04 by 27 miles, you get something about, let's see, and I'm rounding, which is maybe where Nathan's method might be a little bit better, is just because I have such a small number here that I'm going to be rounding it. I end up getting, it's about 15 cents per gallon, per mile, which is where writing the units helps you not mess up like I almost did. So we know that's 15 cents per mile, about, and then we're going to go 2,727 miles. So we just want to multiply that by that number of miles. 7 miles, and then that'll tell us the cost for the whole trip. So I'm going to take, in my calculator, there's actually a strategy. So instead of me rounding, I'm going to use the answer that's on my calculator. I'm going to hit the answer button. So instead of me rounding to this 15 cents, I'm going to take the actual answer and multiply it by 2,727. That way, my answer is going to be pretty accurate. So then when I multiply this out, I end up getting $408.04 for the whole trip. So, which, I mean, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's a
Makes a
pretty
lot of sense.
pretty long drive, 2,700
It's
miles.
a really long drive.
Yeah.
I don't want to be doing that myself. Did you want to show the other way, or?
Sure, I can show that really quick. So you just kind of give me the
We
information.
should get the same answer, of course.
Yeah, we should. And if it's off by a couple dollars, it really has a lot to do with the rounding, right? Because I might
Well, I
round a little
actually
bit
didn't
differently.
round since I actually used
Oh, use the answer button.
the answer button
Okay.
on the calculator. Use that answer button, guys. Some of my
So-
students still don't know how to do that, and it really helps
Yeah.
with
Just makes
accuracy.
everything easier. So what information do we have? We said
27 miles per
27
gallon,
miles per gallon,
and it's $4.04 per gallon.
404 per gallon.
And then we're wanting to know how much it cost to travel 2,727 miles.
Yeah, 2727. So what I would do is I would say, look, I'm traveling. I actually might set this up the same way as Becca. I might do 27 miles for every 1 gallon. And I'm actually looking for how many gallons of gas am I going to use. So I would say now it should all be proportional because we're assuming that we're going to continue with that average. So I think of it as a proportion 2727. That's how many miles I'm traveling. How many gallons am I going to use? So I put X gallons. And then I can cross multiply and I get, doing this, let me get a different color. Cross multiply 27 X miles times gallons equals 2727 miles times gallons. Yeah. Are those miles all going to cancel out?
It'll give you,
So now I solve for X by dividing all of this 27 miles.
well, miles will cancel, but we want
Yeah.
to be in gallons, right?
That's right.
That's what we're trying to figure out.
So then I divide by 27, and I end up with 101. Is that right?
Gallons.
Yeah, 101 gallons of gas that I'm using. And then at $4.04 per gallon, I'm going to get $404.40.
$408.04.
Oh, right, 101 times 4.
Because 100 would be for, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, the exact same thing.
Uh-huh.
And actually, if I were doing this like really quickly, I don't typically do the cross multiplication, but I think this is a really helpful way to see it. I would just say, look, I'm going to go 2,727 miles. I divide it by, every gallon of gas, I get that, and then you get the 101. It's the same thing. It's just kind of a shorter way. But,
Yeah. But this at least shows
right.
why and how.
I would recommend doing this kind of unit conversion or proportion until you really understand what you're doing, because like Becca said, writing down those units is really a good way to avoid making a mistake.
Yeah, these problems like this, these were my worst enemy back in the day.
Just always, because I try to do things so fast and I don't write anything down. And then I'm like, wait, is that gallons or is it miles or is it price? I don't remember.
I don't know.
So
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier when you write the labels out.
yeah.